also with us. Mr. Bohra, how do you look at the situation? For a long time now, Boris Johnson had been facing a lot of pressure. This is clearly not the first scandal that he has faced. He braved through the other scandals, but now, even as his loyalists triggered a lot of resignations, about 50 leaders from the party resigning, now Boris Johnson on the brink of resignation.
Ma'am, thank you very much. Always a pleasure to be on your channel, to learn from you and from the other wonderful people who are sharing their views with the millions of people who watch you. You're one of the most watched. Well, I personally am a little sorry that the fellow is leaving. You know why? He was comic relief. I mean, this guy was there and he would make people laugh. He was known as the Teflon Prime Minister because he would try to clown his way through everything. You've just referred to the fact that he appointed a sexual predator as the deputy chief whip or something like that, saying, oh, I forgot that this guy went around groping people somewhere or the other. Ma'am, you're too young, but in 1946 was born in the United States the world's most famous clown called Bozo the Clown. Invert 46, come to 64, and then Bojo the Clown was born in the UK. He never really managed to be a very good clown because he doesn't have the intelligence to be. So he's a part-time court jester, better, I suppose, than ineptly running the country full-time. He got away with a lot of nonsense in the past because people said he's harmless. But, ma'am, with unemployment growing, inflation breaking through the roof, the economy in a tailspin, the virus rampaging through the country, Brexit as a stupid self-goal, Britain's international influence falling lower than Somalia's, and Bojo appointing himself the commander-in-chief of another comic fellow chap called Volozello in Ukraine, Volodymyr something or the other in Ukraine, who is receiving outdated UK weapons for which his successors will pay. All this has now come together to tell the British people and to tell the world, enough, now you must leave. Because one of the senior leaders who quit said Bojo was not acting in the national interest, while the other said that the public expected government to be conducted properly, competently and seriously as there were tensions over the economy. I conclude by saying that in the 90s, when the elections were taking place in the United States and George Bush was about to be thrown out, the first one, people asked, why should we vote for your challenger? And the answer, the absolute answer was, it's the economy, stupid. This was from the challenger. It's the economy, stupid. This became the catchword. So when they are hurting, they want him out. They want someone else to come in. I'm not at all surprised. I'm sorry, because we won't get to laugh. He's the guy who said Africa's problem is not that we were once in charge, Britain. Africa's problem is that we are no longer in charge. Then he produced some kind of a program last year to attract the world's greatest scientists as iron filings to a magnet, introduced some program or the other. Do you know that the whole world is dying to go to the United Kingdom? So only 2 scientists showed up, and now he's got something of high potential individuals from Indian universities to go there because Britain doesn't have any of its own high potential individuals. The man is absolutely...
Okay, very interestingly, you called him just a comic relief. In fact, his statements on Peppa Pig had also, made it seem very bizarre. At a time when UK was embroiled in such controversies, he made that speech, laughed at, yes. But now when we talk of what's going to happen next, who are you placing your bets on? There are a few already doing the rounds. Rishi Sunak, perhaps, Liz Truss. These are some of the names that are doing the rounds. Who would you say is the probable next Prime Minister?
Too early at this point of time to judge. If somebody, and it would be very appropriate of Indian origin, were to get into whatever that Upping Street or Downing Street it's called, it would be great to have somebody. It would be, I would then write a piece for you, ma'am, The Empire Strikes Back. And if it's the other fellow, well then so be it. I mean, there's a Pakistani origin fellow who also resigned. He may be in the running. There's the foreign secretary, some lady called Bus or Truss or something who's also in the running. All this will be decided in due course because now the backroom stuff will go on. There'll be negotiation, there'll be horse trading. The British are very good, not just in riding horses, but also in trading them. And it will have no impact, let me assure you, on our relationship with the UK, which in any case is hardly of any significance to us. We make all the appropriate noises for historical reasons, and plus we keep buying their companies. But otherwise, it doesn't really matter to us, whoever sits in that place. And every now and then, there is this thing, you've heard of it, called the House of Frauds. Not frauds, what's it? House of Lords. They keep discussing the Punjab farmers, they keep discussing what is happening in Kashmir. Who listens to these chaps? They have a few fellows in their own constituencies whom they have to pander to. So they raise these issues instead of looking at what is eating Britain from within.
Okay, all right. Requesting you to stay on with us, Mr. Deepak. We have some reactions also coming in from the